We're not sure what this means at the time, but there were a few loud gunshots. We looked over and we saw the police shooting at the building. So at this point, they're inside. I almost feel like a broken record, and for those of you that have been following this case, you know why. We're getting close to hour 49 of deliberations. The Maine Department of Labor says there is no definite recall date for the Great Northern Paper Mill to reopen. I'm here at the air gun range. It's just one of the many fun things you can do here, and I'm going to try this out. Okay, so you saw Timmy do it earlier, and first things first, safety. Put my goggles on. And again, please give yourself extra time on the roads tonight and through the rest of the storm. Jim? Here on the quiet side of the island in Southwest Harbor, this restaurant has been serving up dishes for 10 years now. So let's check out Red Sky. There's no shortage of emotion here as runners cross the finish line and spectators thank them for coming back to run in this historic race. All the passengers on board are ready to take a trip back in time. A team of scientists has concluded that a scrap of papyrus that purportedly quotes Jesus referring to "my wife" is not a fake. Biologists from Bear Crew just put this radio collar on this female yearling so they can track her throughout the duration of her life. It's likely you've seen an adoption scenario on TV or in the movies. When it comes down to real life, it can be an overwhelming process. These racers are averaging from 0 to 105 miles per hour in about 5 seconds. That's what makes testing and tuning day so important. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Department updated the media today, saying the search for Nicole Cable continues to be a missing person investigation. A study commissioned by Governor LePage found that 1 in 22 motorists are driving uninsured. From the food to the atmosphere, even the location. When it comes to providing old New England charm year-round, I found a bed and breakfast in Brooklyn that's perfect for the main course. Management says within 3 days, through the crew's ingenuity and creativity, they had operations up and running to nearly 50%. Now, this winter weather may be frustrating for some, but it's a welcome sight for many Mainers, including snowmobilers. So here we go. I know I put it right here. And I've only done this a few times, so let's see what happens. All right. Woo! Let's see, did I beat him?
The time is 3.02 seconds, which is 1 3/4 seconds faster.
I beat you, Tim. I beat Tim. Yay! Thank you, Charlie, for the great pointers. So if you want to try this out, they'll be here till 9 tonight. They're going to be back here tomorrow from 9 until 8 p.m. and then Sunday from 9 to 3. So, Caitlin, you need to come check this out. See if you can beat me. As you can see below me, Magic is in the water. She'll be here for about a week before they take her down to meet her owners in South Carolina. Reporting in Belfast, Morgan Sturdivant, WABI TV5 News. For what was supposed to be a day of celebration, this 4th of July started with the sound of gunshots fired in Bangor.
We received a call of a report of a man that had been firing shots over here on Park Street. More gunshots were fired as officers arrived. We quickly shut the area down, created a perimeter, and the rest has been about a 2-hour negotiation and tear gas type event where we finally did in fact take one into custody.
As more police arrived on scene, they started evacuating the apartment building the shooter was in, as well as neighboring buildings.
We were asked to leave the building because of a gentleman in the first apartment. He was shooting off a gun. And as we were coming out, he shot off 3 more rounds.
And they told us that somebody in apartment 1 has a gun and that we all needed to get out of there fast. So it was pretty scary because we were like all trying to rush, and it was just like, I don't know, it was pretty scary.
Some of the shots fired were out of the window. As more and more people started coming out for the parade, police directed them away from where the shots were being fired. Police say more than 70 shots were fired during a 2-hour negotiation and shootout that ensued on Park Street. Tactical teams were eventually able to get to the suspect.
Tear gas was ultimately used to get him out.
The 2-hour standoff concluded with 43-year-old Perrin Oliver of Bangor being apprehended by police.
And we're just happy that it was successfully ended where no one was hurt. The suspect is in fact alive and not hurt and in custody. This fall I got to visit the Cranberry Isles to see what life is like for them. The population of year-round residents between the two is just a bit above 100. Recently I had the chance to go back out there to see what happens in the winter.
I would say I never get tired after 13 years living here year-round of the nature and the beauty of the island.
The beauty of the Cranberry Isles does come with challenges. One is relying on the mailboat. It makes stops between the coast and the islands all day. The frigid ride is routine for most of the passengers traveling to work.
I think it's been about the toughest winter we've ever seen in terms of sheer cold weather and high winds.
Finding a way to get things from the mainland to the islands is essential for larger materials.
Especially propane. Those who rely on propane heating have had much difficulty.
It's actually a barging issue which affects propane. The weather's been bad enough that the propane company can't get out here very easily, and then with a shortage that's compounded.
Although Tom Powell and his wife Becca are having heating issues, they have felt warmth from the community they have recently relocated to.
Besides a couple of Sundays where the weather's been bad and we couldn't travel back and forth, we've had church every Sunday, which I think by most people's recollection is the first time in decades.
It's a lovely place. It's just, I cannot imagine to live some other place. Even though I come from Stockholm, Sweden, a big city, this is heaven.
Through the winter months, relying on each other is necessary for survival, especially in severe weather.
Blair Colby is the fellow the town contracts with to be a snowplower, and he does a wonderful job.
Along with the number of jobs he keeps up with, Colby's also the new fire chief of Great Cranberry.
I'm just starting it, and I have a lot of training to do as far as to be, chief position. What we have is pretty reliable. Both trucks have new pumps on them, but they are old. We join hands with Islesford, which is the same township.
Over in Islesford, Caitlin Damon is a new mother, a wife to an 8th-generation lobsterman, and the public safety coordinator for the entire municipality. One concern is power outages.
Most people are prepared for at least a couple days worth of outage, I would think, around here.
Everyone is close, and many have passed through this home. Anna Fernald has lived here for decades.
63 and a half years.
Her father-in-law gave it to her and her late husband.
He bought it in 1947 for $1,000. He said, the only thing I ask is that you fill it up because it's a big home.
They raised 6 kids. That might be why so many have come in for a warm meal, a place to stay, or an afternoon of fun.
Well, you know, there's a reason for that. And that reason is that I love people.
People and the island she calls home.
I love it. It's become part of me.
It's a whole other landscape. And when the snow falls, and especially when it holds on to things, it's really like a wonderland. It's magical. And I rediscover everything about it then.
Ashley Bryant is known around the world for his books, illustrations, and art. This winter, he's traveling to Kenya to bring books to poor rural children and visiting women embroiderers in South Africa that help with poverty levels through their work. Thanks to the island's postmaster, Joy Sprague, he'll still get his mail while he's gone. She's been running this operation since 1977. Back then, she was the youngest postmaster in the U.S. It's a job she loves.
It's not difficult. It can be the most important thing, and the problems would be the boat and whether or not the mail is going to be running.
It's a home she loves too, mostly for the people that visit and live here.
My next door neighbor is the plow man, and he's great. When he was 5 years old, he actually built himself a wooden snowplow, and he'd be out there plowing before the snowplow was out.
Yeah, it's something that I've always done and enjoyed. Pays pretty good, so it's something that I want to keep doing and enjoy doing.
The choice to stay here year after year may not only be for its geographical beauty, but for the beauty of a tightly woven common thread between its residents and the community they've created.
You see, there are people who understand what it is to just live a life. You don't carry on about them because it's winter or it's fall or whatever. They are workers. They are lobster fishermen. They are carpenters, general workmen, and me.